Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Dennis Zylstra and this is Getting in the Game. So today we're going to try to see if we can get the CH750's fuselage on the ground. And a lot of people have done different things to their suspension. I saw it on the internet, so I thought it'd work for me. And if you're interested in seeing if it worked and how I did it by myself again, stick around. And I'm finished up the front end, and I looked up this, and there are 3 holes on the bottom. So I decided to put them in, even though the factory had 4 of them drilled in. I drilled in 2 more, and I'm going to finish up the front. I'm going to put that on. I've got my marks made, and I've got it all clamped in place, and I just got to get brave now. And it's leaning backwards like in the pictures. I've got to figure out what bolts to put in and do all that kind of fun stuff. And I'll have that hopefully done today. About the main landing gear, I already measured it, and according to the dimensions in the plans, it's the right gear. And I left the gap here on the table when I drilled holes here, hoping that it would slide up in there. And I just got down on my back right there and bench pressed it up and slid it up in there and put one of these on. It's in place, but this is why I'm test fitting it, because I'm going to sand all this, and when I put it in, of course, I just want to do it in one shot. Once it's all nice, I mean. I do have to take a little off this here on the outside. Both of the outsides are a little bit tight. Yeah, other than that, the back's fitting really good. I think that'll go straight up in when it's time. So I will take a little bit off on both sides, test fit one more time, and then I'll start cleaning up the outsides where I can see them, because I'm going to leave these that polished look like I did my front fork. And then in the future, all I have to do is oil them up good and Scotch-Brite them when I want to clean them. But I like the landing gear not matching the plane, having its own look. See how it goes. And you can, by yourself, bench press it up in there and test it. And this is about the 5th time I've done this. Not easy, but it's doable. I got it clamped to the table and pushed up against that wall and that sander over there. So here we go. It's gonna take a long time. That was the angle when I weld 2 of these together. That's the angle of hopefully flat, and then I can drill my holes for the rotation of the nose to get the bottom flat forward and back. Right. Okay, well, I got one made. They're throwaway. I just welded everything up the best I could. Not too hot anymore. They sit on like this. They sit on kind of like that, and I can change the direction this way according to the holes I drill, and I can leave it down 1/2 inch so it clears that plate in the back. How much do I got? 38 pounds of lead from my scuba diving days in that bag on there. I've got nails in here stuck through so that it can handle the pressure up and down. And I don't know how much weight I'm going to need, but I think it'll handle quite a bit. This is structurally very sound for pressure down. I've got these clamped tight. Well, I just want to show you before I got to the front. I have the back tied down with 2 systems here. So it's on a pad there. So no matter what kind of weight I put in the front, it won't go down. Well, I got my main landing gear on. And I got it all scotch braided. I'm not sure what I'm going to put on it to keep it from rusting or corroding, I mean. And I've got the weight now of the front end on the ground. So that's all released. The plan is to remove this from the table and tie this down far enough that I can get that tire in the air where it's touching the ground in the air just as high as that is from the ground, so that I can get what I consider level, so I can drill holes in my casters and mount them. So that's the plan. Okay, the plan here is to put the tail down far enough now that I've got that support removed, so that the gap here to the floor is the same, pretty self-explanatory, gap here. And I'm going to lower that down a little so I got some room for twist. So I've got it just about right now. And that's so that I can measure level, because the more that goes down, of course, the more it wants to tip back, and the more the nose goes down, the more it wants to tip forward. And we all know casters don't work well at all if they are not level. And so I'm going to work hard at getting these so when it's on the ground, that is the exact distance, and you see what I got to do. Yeah, I got it tight to that line in the back because I hope the weight will bring these out, and that will level that bubble there, hopefully. Good. Drill the other 3 holes. Hopefully it left a good mark on there. And yes, I primed it. Who knows how long them are going to be bolted on there, steel against aluminum. So yeah, I put a nice coat on there. As soon as that's dry, we'll bolt her up. Well, I wonder how many times I'm going to catch my ankles and legs on that. But maybe I'll put some foam on there, who knows. But so I went with bigger, even though I wanted the airplane to be as low as I could to the ground. This was the best combination I thought I could come up with. It's right in between a big one and a small one. All right, let's check and see if it's level. But I think that's as close as I can get. I'll go do the other side. Then we can put this baby, I can slide it down off the table slowly. It got about 6 inches to go before it hits. And hopefully when I get a hold of the tail, I can walk this thing off the edge till it gets on the table on these longerons, and I can slowly skid it forward and get it off the table today. That's the goal. Well, I'm getting ready to do the other side. I haven't said much of this, but I want it to be proven good. And if it works and I get it off the table today, then it'll be proven good. But if you're building yours by yourself and you don't have much help like I am, I would say, what was I back? About 3 inches there. I drilled a 1/2 inch hole, 1/4 inch deep into mine so that the bolt set in there so it wouldn't scoot back and forth, and made that, like you saw in previous videos and in this one, had a brace built back there. So this would basically be level. Had the tail way up in the air and tied to it with 2 different systems so that if one broke, the other one take over. Because you don't want it to fall down and forward. And that made it nice for working on underneath, up in the front, getting everything set up for myself. But it also worked for putting the gear on really well. I did put a board under here that we built the wings with, and lifted it up by myself and slid it under to about here to get it up off the, and then I put another board on top of that and totally stabilized the tail just as tight as I could without hurting anything. And that would make it so that I could work on these brackets right here. I didn't film any of that. I was just involved in doing it. So just so you know, you can do it all by yourself. You can put it up in there and hold. I just took a rope around the other side and put it around this, up through this hole, and slid it up there so that it was in place and tied it off, and then went and worked on the other side, which was this side, and got the bracket all hooked on. And then after that, went over there and supported it, got the rope off, and reassembled the rubber and the nuts and bolts, or I say the nuts and the washers. So that worked really well. This table has been just great. I wish it was narrower now. Didn't in the beginning. But now I'm going to cut it right here so they have the, 4 sets on it. The front's going to be gone. And I'm going to slide that over here where I'm standing now and see if it works. See if I can get the plane pushed over. So if you want your plane to move around sideways, I'll be able to pop the tire off the ground slightly. If I get the weight set just right in the front on that, and then I'll be able to slide this thing sideways pretty easy, I think. That's the hope. But if you're thinking of using your table by yourself and you want it secure, that worked really well. I was very happy with this setup. Now, I got the weight off the front. I just want to get this off of it's out of its hole. It's really right in between balancing. This is 1 finger's worth of weight there. This will keep that at that height, but it'll let it slide that way. And I think once I get it on here, I'll have to try to control it by the tail. I don't know. Maybe I should be right up here, because once that hits, it's going to want to tip right and left. Well, I do got to get this off of this brace here. Got everything off of the table. The balance point is changing now that it's in the back there. Whoa. Okay, that's sitting on the longerons now. These are always the things that makes me nervous. But you got to do them. It's getting heavier in the nose as I move forward. Yeah, it's just sliding on the longerons. I might let this up a bit. Now it's on the tire, but that's going to make it more and more unstable. I better lock the table. Maybe I should just creep it forward a little at a time on this from side to side. I honestly thought the casters would be touching by now. There. It's on the ground. But it needs some weight in the front. Let's put all this lead up here. There it is. Hey, the casters turn super easy. Must be close to level. Look at that. Yeah, the tire sure don't go sideways, but it's almost so good that it could be dangerous. Look at that. I can move it too easy. Let's see how the locks work. Well, there she is. She's probably never going to be on the table again. Yay, that's a mile mark right there. Take all the stuff out on this side and that side, get rid of everything that I don't need, and see if I can stack everything on that side and cut that table in half and have a big bonfire. It swivels easy. I'll be able to take this out in the driveway easy enough on my own. I call that a success. Well, that's the way it's going to be from now on. It's on its wheels and it's permanent. It's cut in half. I wish it was about half as wide, but it fits in here. I can get around it. Onward and upward. Thanks for watching, guys. I built that just a little over 2 years ago. Boy, that went quick.